Mathew Ottor. Mathew is a performance poet, storyteller, and content creator with a strong desire to tell authentic, vivid, and impactful stories that inspire better mindsets. He is a storyteller and a poet. Welcome, Matthew.
Good afternoon, everyone. Um, First, I would start with saying thank you to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to do my thing today. It's a rare privilege, and stories do matter, but then a lot of stories have, like, a lot of people have disappeared into their own stories because there was no one to hear it, right? So it is a privilege. I'll be telling stories today, and stories are important because, of course, we know stories have been used to malign, stories have been used to help to cause shifts, to cause rifts. But also stories are important because stories also help us and empower us, especially stories we see ourselves in, especially our own stories. And I think it's also important in academic events like this. There is rarely storytelling, as it were. We're always very factual and based on statistics and all of that. And we're talking about the now and the next generation. There wouldn't be a next generation if we do not take responsibility in the now. And there wouldn't be a next generation if we do not learn from our past, as it were. And I consider myself a storyteller. I inspire better mindsets. And I believe my stories cause change, as it were. It's how Newton said, except there is an equal and opposite force, everybody stays stagnant. I believe my stories are that equal and opposite force. So I would start with talking politics, as it were. Politics in Africa is very interesting. Um, I express myself with poetry, most especially because I don't like being boxed in. I've never had a reason to like boxes. Because the wrestle in the ring of power in our country is fought with ballot boxes. You'd see political parties throw fists and verbal punches. The political drama in our continent could top the box office. You see, politicians are united in looting while the citizens are divided in their choice of a favorite thief. Tribalism hoisting, blindly appointing. With our future, we are toying. And when their tenure is disappointing, with anger as an anchor, we think to ourselves, maybe another politician is the answer. But we forget that the president was first a presiding resident, a citizen like ourselves. We forget that a politician's disposition is a perfect mirror image of society's composition. So there is corruption in presidential lounges, but also corruption on the streets. So when you get paid, you better count it twice because it just might not add up. Like they say, does anything add up in Africa? We've been hexed by our ignorance. So when you plot that graph, you realize that our economics are on the lower part of the y-axis. Where asses claiming to be horses, wolves claiming to be sheep, monkeys wanting bananas, are like donkeys who walk through savannas just to be called Americanas. Continent's an animal farm. From northern towns to southern towns, there are killings and harm. Resident insurgents to civic unrest, yet we refuse to believe that the vote is a commitment to ourselves. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. But we would always say the votes do not count. They don't even count the vote. Would we just keep quiet? Africa is sick, and our votes could be the antidote she craves or coughing for her graves. Because how do we have leaders we can't bank on and public officers with private bank accounts? Civil servants are civilized slaves, not even worthy of the minimum wage. There's rage everywhere with even some leaders using football age. During an election, we could have over 5 contestants, but to us, only the opinion of 2 candidates are candid. So they sweet mouth us like candy, only to crush us when they get the office they demanded. The forest is shrinking, they say. But the trees keep voting for the axe because it has a wooden handle. They think it is one of them. Think about it. Fresh air was free until inflation set in. As our children go thin and our pockets get flatter, their bellies get fatter and their backs cave in. Now I understand what inflation means. We sell tomorrow for today, sell our votes for some dough, then we reap what we sow. Here comes death, say hello. Africans are the reason why we are where we're still here. Because like hungry low cost, we sell our votes at low cost and sometimes at no cost. And ironically, only dead batteries are free of charge. But your vote isn't dead. Your vote is power. So it's fight night and election day, and the same ballot boxes that should help us knock out the foxes become our coffins because we've sold our punches. So Africa will be great again has become a white lie. Haven't you observed that more people these days tie and die? I've never had a reason to like boxes. But if a ballot box will change my nation status, then this box, I would definitely embrace it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matthew. There's another round of applause for Matthew. Wonderful.